Ease. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future. We're not going too far in the past. Right now. Right now, I just received not say just, but a couple of days ago received a download about the shadow people in Venice. And finally, not say got to the bottom of the situation, but got some insight on it. Now, of course, you could look up, I got a video where I talked about shadow people, and speaking on shadow people from different places, like, you got the shadow people in New Orleans, and again, to kind of give insight, which go look at the old video, because I'm not about to fully explain shadow people again, but it's just kind of like those darker souls or darker beings that kind of, not say, not necessarily in purgatory in essence, but they're like the dark beings that kind of float close to the physical realm. So almost like four-dimensional beings, which in essence most a lot of demons, the demons who do the sleep paralysis on us, you know what I'm saying? Because matter of fact, sleep paralysis come in most cases when our auric field is weak and they parasites. And matter of fact, one of the brethren was speaking on this. I came across lately where he was like the RFG the one, I think that's the brethren. Shout out to that brethren. He was speaking on how like the parasites are the shadow people who are like basically like archons or whatever, or like those fallen reptilian angels, but they just like vultures where they don't really attack you unless you're vulnerable. So the reason sleep paralysis may happen to us in certain times of our life is probably at times when our auric field has holes in it, are we stressed out or whatever, and that opens us up for that attack, you know what I'm saying? But back again, the shadow people, it's just kind of like those darker entities that float within the within the fabric of the third dimension, you know what I'm saying, kind of whispering and influencing people, to come closer to their dimension, and not necessarily in the fourth dimension, but more so in that dimension, in that vibration of darkness, you know what I'm saying? So the New Orleans people, shadow people, like, oh, come through, have a good vibe, drink this, do that, and it's all different. The New Orleans shadow people is kind of like pulls you into having fun and makes it seem like it's all just, it's just all in the sport of just being in New Orleans and having fun. But I have you cross the line, like, and what's real or what could be something to be real cautious about is you got to be careful, because part of life is enjoying it, like doing like some bucket list type of stuff. But then sometimes that little voice that's telling you to do some of that stuff got some unrighteous things lined up for you, you know what I'm saying, with some of those experiences. So you want to be careful with that bucket list type of stuff, because say for instance in New Orleans, you catch that vibe, oh man, sleep with that prostitute, so what if she might have something? And I'm only saying this from a human perspective, because I don't believe in diseases. I know diseases are fake, and it's proven. The government knows it, but I can't make all y'all know it, because y'all only believe people when they got logical proof to show to you. So until then, you just gonna still think that disease is real. I'ma know they fake. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Where was I? Oh, yeah, like the New Orleans shadow people, like, go sleep. But, oh, man, drink after that person. They might not, oh, man, you in the party, bro. These people cool, man. Look, you get good vibes, man. Try that little hit of heroin one time. It won't hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's this New Orleans shadow people kind of just pulls you in. Well, I just caught the read on the Venice Beach shadow people. Matter of fact, and too, I caught somebody told me another example is the Appalachian Mountain shadow people. I forgot what part of the mountains, but somebody was telling me there's a certain part where those shadow people are cutthroat. Like when you get to a certain point, it's almost like that suicide forest that they talk about in Japan almost. But it's like, well, as soon as you get to this certain area of the forest, it's like you could feel almost, how that awkwardness of that, like it feel like a thin line, like you could slice that tension, when you're in the room of that awkward moment, where it's like that, plus it's like voices and beings like turn around, get the fuck out now, like not on no playful, like, yeah, that, it's like, turn around. Are we gonna kill you past this point? Like, you know, you're signing yourself up for some type of situation if you walk past this point. Oh, excuse me for a second. Right in the nose. But yeah, those shadow people are real cutthroat. So to the point, the Venice Beach shadow people are pulling you into that homeless or houseless lifestyle, or this illusion of living free, and like, oh, forget society, I'm living free, this and that. Like, that's what those shadow people do. So it's like, oh man, live free, enjoy yourself, this and that, oh man, yeah, fuck society, yeah man, forget money, you don't need it, this and that. Like, it disguises itself in a spiritual format, but when it's all said and done, it'll have you, sleeping on the beach houses, probably possibly for the rest of your life, you know what I'm saying? Because you thinking like that's the vibe of like, oh yeah, that's living free. Like, forget money, you know what I'm saying? That's another thing too. And this is another real aspect of our spiritual growth, or being able to speak on spiritual things, is I done dealt with this from experience. So there's no book telling me this, there's no video telling me this, in which if it was a video telling me, it would, if I watched a video talking on this and I felt the need to deliver that information, then I know it would be some type of truthful connection, because my high self wouldn't even give me the urge to regurgitate nothing, you know what I'm saying? Regurgitate anything that, because nothing is new under the sun, so we all regurgitating anyway. But yeah, like, that information just like from my own experience, knowing that like I got a vision board with money and abundance, with my crystals, with the foods, all the things that I love, even got my little yacht, and and thinking about like how though being in Venice though, it brings you, and at first you kind of thinking like, oh yeah man, getting away from detachment, getting away from the material things, this and that. And then it dawned upon me as too, because I'm about to add a little bit of this information in there, where it dawned upon me when I got an old book that I hadn't read in a minute, and it was on chakras, and it spoke to the root chakra and went in depth. And one of the things it speak on, it was like and I'm kind of quoting to a certain extent, not word for word, but the physical part of the human being requires a place to live, food to eat, and water to drink. And it's basically like, talking about that foundation of taking care of yourself. And I'm like, all right, another thing too about the Venice Beach shadow people is they disrupt your root chakra of caring for yourself, because there's a lot of people in on a house of transition, or not transition, being houses where you could tell and you could feel, man, their heart in the right place, but somewhere along the lines you could also feel like they've been bamboozled, so to speak, by these shadow people, again, this live free, forget society vibe, but to a point where you're not taking care of yourself, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so I really saw that aspect, and to a point where it puts you in a poverty mind frame, because I know a few brethren and sisters, that occupy that boardwalk, and I've seen them be affected by that bug, so to speak. Again, you just wanting to live, like, is that live free vibe without the root chakra attachment, without the healthy root chakra, and you could also say it's a little bit of a imbalanced crown chakra, because, with that vibe of like being or feeling like you're so connected to source, I don't have to care about my physical, and I've been through that stage, you know what I'm saying? So I know it firsthand, you know what I'm saying? And it's a part of, again, being a true quote unquote scientist, for lack of a better word, but like I'm actually doing this is my own research, everything I'm doing in my life, and which is another thing too, why I do things, and like, when people ask about stuff and I don't explain myself, because I'm doing something that I'm not explaining to everybody all the time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, hey everybody, when I go here and I'm doing this, I'm doing an experiment. When I'm sitting around these people who vamping me, I know they vamping me, but I'm just kind of testing out the theory to see how it's, like, because now, of course, I've been through situations where Well, I did some alchemy with it where I wasn't trying to be a scientist. It happened, but I transmuted it into putting myself into a, how can I say, observant position to where like, all right, like even though I wasn't trying to make this happen to observe it on some scientist shit, I'm gonna do that, after the effect, and I'm gonna just remember like, all right, this is how this situation go, whatever. But again, those shadow people in Venice whispering in that ear and telling you, oh man, money. Because too, what I tell some of the brethren were like the bartering system. Like, oh yes, bro, like we getting down to like breaking down the money and getting into bartering and things of this nature, but it's a balance. Don't forget that like when I go to the grocery store, when I go to Whole Foods, matter of fact, even some of these healthy places who, which I know they're not, that would only be my foolish perception to think like, oh, just because a grocery store has vegan food, everybody's spiritual. But what I was gonna say. I forgot that quick. I'm gonna get right back to it. But I speaking on the shadow people. Bartering and like I can't go and I say it's difficult. I'm gonna say I can't, because with my magic I know I could do a lot of things. But it's very difficult for me to walk up in the 7-Eleven, the Airwind, the Whole Foods, the Rainbow Acres. This is all great places in California, I mean in Los Angeles, to get health food, especially Airwind and Rainbow Acres, but for sure Rainbow Acres off of Washington. But anyway, shout out to them. But I can't go to them and be like, here, one of my $20 bracelets, can I get $20 worth of grocery? Because I place $20 of value on this bracelet, but you don't. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the whole form of where the currency come in and where it makes sense. Money is energy, that's all it is. But when you get into that construct, or you get these shadow people whispering in your ear, like man, to hell with that. Matter of fact, the Venice Beach shadow people, I'm gonna call them Bohemian shadow people. Like literally, like that's the vibe. It's like, oh yeah, you could feel like the vibe of how can I say, for a nice second of like, because when you get detached from a lot of material things, you do feel like a God sense of, like allowing things to come to you. But then when you just like polarizing and being extremist about it, you see that it's off balance. You know what I'm saying? Like I realize like, all right. And then too, so that's why I kind of realize that's why I kind of be in and out of Venice, from Venice to downtown, because I balance those aspects. Like I'm in nature, I want to just lay out in the sand and not do nothing, think about nothing. But then I also want to do 20 million videos and sit down and load them all and be on Instagram and share with people and do things of that nature too. So it's a balance for me, and I saw that for myself where I had to get out. And two, seeing like where you do have to like, well, it was a constant, like my meditation was key, because you do feel that vibration of like that root chakra being broken down, like where it's just like a, matter of fact, another aspect, like physical vitality depends upon nutrition and protection from the elements. Nutrition and protection from the elements, one of the main things that you don't really have when you're on your house's transition is protection from the elements, you know what I'm saying? So again, you see how that root chakra situation play into that, you know what I'm saying? So, matter of fact, and making sure you got a safe place to sleep and pure water to drink, you know what I'm saying? That's all the root chakra situation. And the root chakra also deals with the structure of things, and if you say, for instance, so if you're just like, oh, I'm right brain feminine, and again, I done went through these stages in which I'm still mostly operating on that level as far as like a more feminine right brain perspective. So it's like going with the flow, unpredictability, intuitive, you know what I'm saying? But say, for instance, that structure, you know what I'm saying, of the physical nature of being, it does take some kind of structure. And two, that's what this also, like with the Venice, find out about the Venice shadow people and the root chakras, all the omens for me as well. Mostly I'm just sharing, honestly it's kind of like an omens for me that I'm just sharing with y'all, which a lot of this information be, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like either sharing my perspective, sharing some downloaded information, or sometimes sharing general information that you can find anywhere. But again, that root chakra deals with that structure, that's Malkut, the bottom Sephiroth on the tree of life, you know what I'm saying? Or the tree of knowledge, tree of life, I forgot the tree of knowledge is the one with Da'ath, or that 10th Sephiroth. I think it's the 10th one in the middle, at the upper middle part, and the tree of life doesn't have that one. But not to get into that. So yeah, the structure, Malkut, or matter of fact, or Saturn, that Saturn energy, that male, masculine energy. Because again, that root chakra, is almost like that Mars, root chakra, red, Mars, masculine, fight or flight, fight or flight, Mars, warlike energy, you know what I'm saying? Too, you see these little ties into that energy, But yeah, like that Saturn, that structure, keeping things in place. So, whenever that root chakra's out of place, it's when you lack abundance in these areas, or you lack a stability in this area. Because also with the root chakra, is very important for men. Because too, you see, as above, so below, you see an aspect of our chakras that personify the way we deal with our sexual energy, where, the male sexual energy is more in the root chakra, that bottom chakra deals more with physical energy, and the female sexual energy is more in that sacral chakra, which deals more with emotions, and more of a non-physical sexual energy in that sense too. See that aspect, but not to get too far, but again, like with these shadow people, they're basically like, that whether it could be cutthroat like the ones in the Appalachian Mountains, or like where's that voice of like, come on, enjoy yourself. Oh man, like life is about letting things come to you, And again, it all sounds good, just like the New Orleans shadow people. Like New Orleans and Venice shadow people almost one the same. They sound good at the beginning, until you look up and, in New Orleans, until you look up and see yourself in the cop car, or in the street, or somewhere, like wondering, like, wait, how I got here? Waking up like, man, how I got here? Because New Orleans, too, got that alcohol and more drug aspect. Venice, again, is like more of a Bohemian, matter of fact, might go on a trip, take some, I gotta watch hops. You might take a trip and go places, you know what I'm saying, and pick up on energies while you in these places that might, hinder your growth, or, or mess with you, So again, definitely be careful of the shadow people in Venice. And and if any of my brethren and sisters who are on their houses transition in Venice or in LA or in general, you know what I'm saying, be careful of this situation. Always check your root chakra. Do a root chakra check. Matter of fact, if you out here be in houses and you want different, you want to, be in a house, you want to be in a home, you just kind of transitioning on, doing the things you love and working your way through the high chakras, because really we're supposed to build this foundation first, the root chakra, and go up, because you can't build up if you ain't got nothing, you got to build from the foundation, the structure, Malkut, you know what I'm saying? The structure, that cube, the box, that holds us down. That's also, again, that root chakra. But, you can't build up from up. We got to build that root chakra. So, definitely want to do some root chakra checking, some root chakra maintenance if you, like, on a house's transition, or, you might even possibly go through it, couch surfing, you know what I'm saying? Like, where you don't necessarily live outside, but you don't really have your own place per se, like check out, look at that root chakra, you know what I'm saying, and see what you gotta, what it takes to balance that. Matter of fact, I gotta go look at my older videos. If you look up universal frequencies, root chakra. I got a video just on the root chakra, talking about the crystals, and like just from something simple, from wearing red when you feel like you need to balance that root chakra, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with hematite, red jasper, to name a few. But definitely, again, want to be aware of those type of shadow people, because again, also that deals with our abundance and our wealth, what we think of abundance. So, you know, those shadow people in Venice get to start tapping into your root chakra and almost like taking the wheel, because your chakras are like spinning wheels, and taking and spinning the opposite direction. Like, don't worry about money and taking care of yourself. You know, even if it look like you're probably houseless to the point of like, you know, you're not, your hygiene off and all this, like, don't worry about none of that. You're living free, live free. Don't care about money, even though you can't barter at the grocery store and make a living off of that right now. Do it to the extreme right now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's those shadow people. You know what I'm saying? So definitely be careful. And two, as well, as a person sensitive to energy, aka I don't like, you know, trying to get away from the titles, but you know what we call empaths. You know, you gotta, now it's getting very, very important for us to just maintain our energy field, you know what I'm saying, and not be around vibrations that may hinder us, or you know, vibrations that's not beneficial to our spiritual growth and what we're trying to accomplish. And then two, just in general, just with just any energies, being around too many people for too long. Now you gotta start, you know, maintaining our own vibration, because I realized from being out in Venice how much I was affected by that shadow people vibration. But I was able to, you know, because too, like being able to kind of like on some stuff where like being down there and then I move around for a little while and then I start to see like, why do I get in the abundant mind frame and my money rolls so much quicker when I'm not in Venice? Because don't get me wrong, I've had good days in Venice financially, but two, it was because I had to maintain strongly that vibration of abundance and prosperity, and like knowing, you know, like, and again, this is these shadow people that exist on Venice. It's not like they don't have the power to like, oh yeah, they pulling down everybody who walks on the. No, that's not true. Of course, you know, like with any place, you know, you got shadow people walking around in your house right now, in essence, but they're not gonna suck you dry in that sleep paralysis mode until your auric field is you know, open enough. You know what I'm saying? Like a vulture, they kind of gotta wait for you to slip up so they could eat off of you. You know. But at the same time, they sending the vibes around you, and you know, trying to bring you to that dimension, you know, because say for instance, I'm on some abundant stuff, and you know, they say for instance they got control, not control over somebody, but you almost say they influence somebody on a level where, you know, this person operates solely for the Venice Beach shadow people, let's just say, and that person comes by me and like, yeah man, fuck this, I'm living, you know, living life, I'm not caring about nothing, this and that. And they got a difference. Again, you know, you got somebody that's living free and living like that and taking care of their root chakra. And then you got people who on that vibe. So somebody come around me like, oh yeah, man, live free, fuck society, this and that. But as they're saying that, how much, the level of how much I open myself to that message is the level of how much I step into that dimension. So if I'm like, you know what, like, yeah, he right, man, you probably should give up everything and, you know, and just live life on that level. And they're like, the shadow people like, oh, we soon gonna have a meal, boys. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then boom, and then somebody else say something that's about, you know, that is disguised under that live free vibe, but it's really like taking you down and not caring about your physical being, you know. Somebody else come with some type of information on that level, or like some type of vibe, and then now they running at them, and they could just jump over me and swallow me and keep me in that mode of just thinking like, oh yeah, this is the way to live, stay right here, you know what I'm saying, this and that. So with that being said, Be careful of the shadow people in Venice. Make sure that root chakra is balanced and taken care of, especially if you're on your houseless transition, or if you're being houseless by choice for a long time, whatever the case may be. You want to be taking care of yourself properly, so you want to make sure that root chakra is spinning properly, And then on a side note, before I end, though, I came across something though that was surreal to a situation where also though, again, there is a balance of feminine energy coming in that is trying to throw us off of that structure, throw us off our rocker as far as like that structure, logic, male, masculine, Yes, it's gonna be an energy throwing that off, but it's coming through throwing that off just so we could restructure it and balance things. It's not like, oh yeah, we just about to not give a fuck about our physical being, because I always would get this omens on DMT trips. If it wasn't meant for us to be in the physical while we're in the physical, we wouldn't be in the physical, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you could say, oh, well, no, we got tricked into being in the bodies, whatever the case may be. I always caught the omens that omens overrode all that, like with us, like possibly being trapped. It's like, well, whatever the case may be, to whatever extent we allowed ourselves to be here, you know what I'm saying, on this level. So, but I forgot. Oh, that's what I was about to get to. Like the unpredictability of that feminine energy, because I thought about too something where as above, so below. Where I had a situation where a queen, matter of fact, blessings Miss Dime J, came through, and she basically is an embodiment of, that segment Kalima energy, and she came through, and I helped her with a place to, stay. We was on the beach, vibing, and her psychic energies kind of, went off. She was catching some reads, and then she kind of just went off on some situation where from a human ego's perspective, I'm looking like, man, like, what's going on? She went off, and even down to where, not going back to my left space. Anybody familiar with my left spot in Venice, you notice I'm not there no more. There's a reason behind that, you know what I'm saying? But getting into it again, like her energy is the embodiment of that mother nature, mother nurturing energy, you know what I'm saying? Or that godly mother energy. Because also, when you think about it, natural disasters like hurricanes, that throw off that root chakra stability, like you don't have that safe shelter, the food is wavy, the water is shaky situation for all that. So that root chakra is being thrown out the mix. But it's almost like too how the situation with Dime J was like that. It was like that pressure to make a diamond, coming through to say, oh, man, you getting too comfortable in this place anyway. Back to the shadow people situation, and she was, came through to kind of chase me away from, not to chase me for good, but like where I was getting complacent, your ego. Matter of fact, it's another thing. If you getting too complacent, check yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because another thing of falling back into your ego and, lacking that spiritual growth in that sense. But, like a hurricane, as above, so below, it could throw you off, but it's a life-teaching situation, and it's just that mother's wrath for you not taking care of some business in some area anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like a little spanking, you know what I'm saying? When you stuck your hand in the cookie jar when you wasn't supposed to, But like, thinking about in this book, because I had to not quote it but underline it, because this book almost spoke directly to it, because it's speaking about hurricanes and how natural disasters could throw off your root chakra, but it's like that pressure to make a diamond, you know what I'm saying? Like those life-threatening situations or events cause us to gain a little clarity, you know what I'm saying? Like losing that complacency and, and that comfortable structure, you know what I'm saying? When you lose that, it kind of gives insight, perspective, you know what I'm saying, of what you really want to do, and just all kind of other things as well. But I had a situation again with the queen or the goddess Dime J, coming through and blessing me with that, with that blessing in disguise, you know what I'm saying, and which not necessarily in disguise. For a little second, I was thinking like, what's going on? Because getting to the energy vamping situation, because the energy, she was starting to vamp in essence, and I'm wondering like, all right, how much of this is still divine? And then I caught a reading of like, it's still divine, like, because again, in base, I caught that quick download, like, this is still divinity. Think about the earth in a hurricane or a tornado. That's not pretty, and you would run the other way, or it would be energy mapping to you, but it's still divine, nature, same situation. That big bad wolf coming to blow your house down in order for you to gain some clarity from the situation. But I digress. As a matter of fact, but again, be careful of shadow people trying to keep you in the Bohemian shadow people. Be careful of that, especially in Venice. Take care of your root chakra. Matter of fact, and go look at my older videos on shadow people and my older video on balancing and maintaining the root chakra. And you might find a crystal video that speaks on crystals dealing with the root chakra as well. So in my crystal healing section. So peace. Oh, happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past.